Okay, January 9th, Genesis 21 through 22, 24. And Abraham journeyed from there to the south and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur and stayed in Gerar. Now Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Amalek, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Amalek in a dream by night and said to him, indeed, you are a dead man because this woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. But Amalek had not come near her, and he said, Lord, will you slay a righteous nation also? Did he not say to me, she is my sister? And she herself said, he is my brother? In the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands I have done this. And God said to him in a dream, yes, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart. For I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now, therefore, restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you will surely die, you and all who are yours. So Amalek rose early in the morning, called all the servants, and told all these things in their hearing. And the men were very much afraid. And Amalek called Abraham and said to him, what have you done to us? How have I offended you that you have brought on me and on my kingdom? You have you offended me, have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin. You have done deeds to me that ought not to be done. Then Amalek said to Abraham, What did you have in view that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, because I thought surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will kill me on account of my wife. But indeed she is truly my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. And it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house that I said to her, this is your kindness that you should do for me in every place. Wherever we go, say of me, he is my brother. Then Amalek took sheep, oxen, and male and female servants and gave them to Abraham, and he restored Sarah, his wife, to him. And Amalek said, see, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you. Then to Sarah he said, behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Indeed, this vindicates you before all who are with you and before everybody. Thus she was rebuked. So Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Amalek, his wife, and his female servants, and they all bore children. For the Lord had closed up all their wombs of the house of Amalek because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, who Sarah born to him, Isaac. Then Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Now Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made me laugh, and all who hear will laugh with me. She also said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? For I have borne him a son in his old age. So the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, scoffing. Therefore she said to Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, namely with Isaac. And the matter was very displeasing in Abraham's sight because of his son. But God said to Abraham, do not let it be displeasing in your sight because of the lad, or because of your bondwoman. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac your seed shall be called. Yet I will make a nation out of the son of the bondwoman, because he is your seed. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, putting them on her shoulder, and gave the boy to Hagar and sent her away. Then she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. and the water in the skin was used up, and she placed the boy under one of the shrubs. Then she went and sat down across from him at a distance about a bow shot, for she said to herself, "Let me not see the death of the boy." So she sat opposite of him and lifted her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. Then the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said to her, "What ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard your voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him with your hand, and I will make him a great nation." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the skin with water, gave the lad a drink. So God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. He dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him in the land of Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of the army, spoke to Abraham, saying, "God is with you in all that you do. Now, therefore, swear to me by God that you will not deal falsely with my offspring, or with my posterity, but that according to the kindness that I have done to you, will you do to me and to the land which you have dwelt." And Abraham said, "I swear." Then Abraham rebuked Abimelech because of the well of water which Abimelech's servants had seized. And Abimelech said, "I did not know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, nor have I heard of it until today." So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a covenant. And Abraham set seven ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. Then Amalek asked Abraham, "What is the meaning of these seven ewe lambs which you have set by themselves?" And he said, "You will take these seven lambs from my hand, that they may be my witness that I have dug this well." Therefore he called the place Beersheba, because the two of them swore an oath there. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. So Amalek rose with Phicol, the commander of his army, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. Then Abraham planted a terebinth tree in Beersheba and called on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines many days. Now it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, "Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." Then he said, "Take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I shall show you." So Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took two of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and he split wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place which God had told him. Then on the third day, Abraham lifted his eyes and he saw the place afar off. And Abraham said to the young man, "Stay here with the donkey, the lad, and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come back to you." So Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac, his son, and took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the two men went together. But Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." Then he said, "Look, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" And Abraham said, "My God, my son, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering." So the two of them went up together. Then they came to the place of which God had told him, and Abraham built an altar there and placed the wood in order, and he bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." And he said, "Do not lay your hand on the lad, nor do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Then Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and there, behold, behind him was a ram caught in the thicket by the horns. So Abraham went and took the ram, offered it up for a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of the place, "The Lord will provide," as it is said to this day, "In the mount of the Lord it shall be provided." Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time out of heaven and said, "By myself I have sworn, says the Lord, because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son. Blessing, I will bless you, and multiplying, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heaven and as the sand which is on the seashore. And so your descendants shall possess the gate of your enemies. In your seed, all the nations of the earth will be blessed because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba. Now it came to pass after these things that it was told to Abraham, saying, indeed, Micah also has borne children to your brother Nahor, Huz his firstborn, but Buz his brother Kamel, the father Aram, Chez, Hazor, Padesh, Jalbad, and Bethel. And Bethel begot Rebekah. These eight, these eight Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother, his concubine, whose name was Ramah, who also born to Beth, Geham, Teshas, and Maacah, which I butchered all those names. This one's a really cool portion because this one really shows a picture of the future of Christ. When he goes and says, well, he said to Abraham to take Isaac, his only son. And if you look, you're like, well, it's not his only son because he also had, oh, not, he had Isaac and the other boy, the one he sent off. Sorry, my brain just didn't work there. Um, but so he called Isaac his only son because he was the son of the promise. And he sent him away to sacrifice him. Where he sent him to Mount Moriah, which was the same mountain that Jesus was crucified on, and he said multiple times, "Take your son, your only son," which Jesus is the only Son of God. Um, he went up, and then I really this really stands out. And he said, when Isaac said, "Hey, where's the lamb?" And Abraham said, "My son, God will provide for himself the lamb." Doesn't say for himself. He says God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering. And what did God do? God knew that we couldn't do it ourselves. There was no sacrifice that we could do. So he had to come down himself and be the sacrifice. Um, so really incredible picture of God here in Genesis already already had the plan all in place. And the other thing is too, that talking about blessing, Abraham will be blessed, and those who bless him will be blessed, and those who curse him will be cursed. So really, um, really cool portion there. All right, Matthew 7:15 through 29. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do not gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from oh, do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs or thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by the fruits you will know them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in this day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken to him a wise man who built his house on a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like the foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat the house, and it fell. And great was its fall. And so it was when Jesus had ended these sayings that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority, not as one of the scribes. This one's kind of one of the scariest ones for me. Because when it says that not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, many will say to me on that day that you prophesied in my name and you cast out demons. that they were very in tune. And he says, I never knew you apart from me who practice lawlessness. But it comes down to, yes, we all are going to sin, but we're supposed to practice righteousness to the best of our ability. And we're supposed to be focused on that. All right. Psalms 9, 1 through 12. I praise you, Lord, O Lord, with my whole heart. I tell of all your marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. My enemies turn back; they shall face and perish at your presence. For you have maintained my right and my cause. You sat on the throne of judging in righteousness. You have rebuked the nations. You have destroyed the wicked. You have blotted out their name forever and ever. O enemy, destructions are finished forever, and you have destroyed cities. Even their memories have perished, but the Lord shall endure forever. He has prepared his throne for judgment. He shall judge the world in righteousness, and he shall administer judgment for the peoples in uprightness. The Lord will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Those who know your name will put their trust in you. For you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. I love that. For you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. Sing praises to the Lord who dwells in Zion. Declare his deeds among the people. When he avenges blood, he remembers them. He does not forget the cry of the humble. Um, so coming back to when Jesus said, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven. And then we have this promise, for you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. It's all about seeking and doing your best to honor Jesus. Okay, Proverbs 2, 16 through 22. To deliver you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house leads down to death, and her paths to the dead. None who go to her return, nor do they regain the paths of life. So you may walk in the way of goodness and keep to the paths of righteousness. For the upright will dwell in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the earth, and the unfaithful will be uprooted from it. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.